Hello, I'm back. It's been a whole week. How's everybody doing? I say as I yawn and stretch. Ugh, it's a good day. The mic is working right. Yes, it is. Okay. Bear is working in the corner. Yes, he is. Okay, good. How's everybody doing? Sorry I was out Monday. It was a day. It's been a week, and that is as far as I'm going to go with that. That's fine enough anyway. I didn't really have anything too incredibly awesome planned for Monday anyway. So, oh, wow. Wait, what? Wait, what? Hang on. I have to try something. 1 second. Wait, what? Oh, that's fun. I don't know why that decided to do that, but the music just decided to not work anymore. I hear it. It's showing up just fine in the. Hang on. It's not even important, but I'm going to change it to something else. I'm telling you. No? No, you're not going to work. Really? It's just not going to work. Really? No, sorry. I have turned down. God, it's so loud. Nothing. Oh, yeah. I don't see it over there anywhere either. It was working a moment ago. As soon as I changed scenes, the music stopped working. Because why not? Whatever. Let me just stop it altogether. I won't be hearing it. You won't be hearing it. Let's just talk to each other. Okay, well, that's fine. I'll figure that out later. Or I won't. And it'll just stay broken forever because I don't care. In that case, let me just remove the music thing from the corner because we don't need to see it. Okay. Anywho, hi, once again, scuffed opening because that's who I am. Again, how's everybody doing for the third time? Yeah, I'm back. It's been a whole week. I've been doing work stuff, so I've been busy. What are we going to do today? Well, I mean, the title kind of says change negatives to positives and vice versa. What do I mean by that? Well, I am who I am. I'm weird and cryptic, and there's reasons behind everything. Clearly for me, that one is just how I was feeling, and I figured negatives kind of make sense and it goes with the theme. And I was thinking about it earlier too. We were kind of spitballing ideas for like stuff I can do, and this made the list, at least part of it. So what am I going to do? Well, just like it says, negatives. I'm kind of thinking that I want to get some practice with doing things on like opposite sides of the color wheel as much as I can. And even though I don't like know it like methodically, like the back of my hand, I know enough. And I also have a tool that I'm going to use to kind of help cheat a tiny bit too when I need to. So what am I going to do? Well, Nebula. Wow, what a big freaking shock, right? Nebula. I'm going to try to do a nebula, a very simple one, I hope. Try to keep it really basic, and then do its complete negative, its photo negative, its reverse, next to it. So we'll get like a pretty nebula of a particular color with a bunch of white stars on it and all that, and some cloudiness, and then we'll reverse it and have a completely opposite color with whiter backgrounds instead of dark, and then we'll put dark stars on top of it. So it'll be truly a photo negative. And we'll try to get as close to accurate as possible as we can with the colors. And I've got an app that I found on my phone to be able to have a live camera view in negative. So we can look at that now just to see what it looks like. Let me open it. So like this is one of the Polaroids that I did. Let me zoom in on it. All right. I can only zoom so far before even this 4K starts pixelating. So here it is. It's just little basic background with some like purplish magenta colors and a greenish. And when we put the app over it, we get, a completely different set of colors. We get greens over where it was magenta. We have a kind of a magenta where it's green. Just so happens those are fairly close to each other, or fairly close to opposites of each other already. So this kind of shows, the best of both worlds, right? You get to see the image down below, and you get to see what it looks like on the reverse on the camera. So that's what I'll do to try to color match the opposite as much as I can. But I'll probably just, in that case, get close to it and take a picture and then open it up on my gallery so I can use it as like a reference. It's interesting how everything looks in negative. Check out I did this earlier. Check out what it looks like when you hold this over the palette. Check that out. Isn't that fun? That is just wild. It's neat seeing all those pure colors just completely reversed. Super neat. And all of the rest of the Polaroids. And even the sushis over there in the corner. And Link, poor little Link. He's about to be completely color swapped. Look at that. Isn't that fun? That's kind of neat. Take a picture of that. Now we get to see, how does the picture quality come out when you save it? Ooh, blurry. Well, it's not like a high quality app, so I'm kind of not surprised, but that's how Link came out in reverse. So it's kind of neat. So yeah, that's the idea. So I think what I'll do is figure out how I'm going to do it, and then we'll get to work. One other thing too, I'm going to do a different, another little twist. I usually use this paper for all of my like standard, like run of the mill stuff that I paint. Anything that I care about without really truly caring about it, I'll do on this. Stuff I really, really care about, obviously, that I take time on, that goes on Arches because it's way more expensive and higher quality. But today I'm going to do something different. I remembered that I have and have not used some hot press paper. I've been wanting to use this for a while, just to experiment, because when I started out, way over a year ago, I started out with cold press paper. And if you know anything about watercolor paper, cold press paper, let me grab it. Cold press paper tends to have texture to it. The process that they do, because it's cold when the paper is pressed, it tends to leave an imprint of a texture. And I think in modern times, they've kind of faked it. Like they probably still do the same process, but they fake the texture more. So you can see right there, that's what cold press paper looks like, depending on the brand. It's all a little bit different. I like the Strathmore because it looks the most, what's the opposite of uniform? Random, I guess? Yeah. It's the most random textured version that I've seen. Because if I'm going to have texture on it, I want it to look like it's more natural, and the same repeating pattern over and over, it looks like garbage to me. Case in point, this really cheap 5x7 paper I got that's thinner, to go through the printer, you can see the texture on that repeats, right? You see the pattern of lines there. I don't quite like that. It's good for if you do like one quick pass and you don't really pay too close attention, but when you start scrubbing on it, it makes a mess, right? Hey, Goddess, welcome in. Sorry I missed a whole day earlier in the week. It was not a great day, and it's not a great week, but I'm making the best of it, and that's as far as I'll go into that. But yeah, so I realized that most of what I do is space stuff, right? And abstract, but a lot of space. And nebulas and whatnot, I've been just kind of doing them on cold press paper without thinking about it, but I got cold press paper because I started watching and learning about watercoloring from Jenna Rainey on YouTube. Check her out. And she has mostly florals. And florals look really good on textured paper, so she uses cold press almost exclusively, right? But I realized if I want to like blend and look better, wouldn't it be better on a smoother paper, but still an absorbent one? And that's where hot press paper comes in. Hot press paper, when I hold it up, it looks like almost completely smooth, like drafting paper, right? It's like very slick. I've not used it yet. This will be an experiment on two fronts, right? So the smoother paper is going to be really neat. I've never used it before. I imagine the water will not absorb into it quite so quickly. I'm guessing just because it's smoother, so it's less permeable, at least in my mind. So I imagine all the paint, the pigment will probably flow a little better. At least I think it will. So that's what I'm going to go with. So let me go ahead and pull off a sheet. It is quite thick. It's not like the best, most expensive brand in the world, but I don't really think it needs to be. And it's perfectly serviceable. It's the Master's Touch from, I think it's Michaels. And yeah, it seems like it'll be a really good brand. I've seen it plenty of times on there. They have lots of interesting nouns on it. By Fabriano, made in Italy, so it says. What part of it is made in Italy? The paper? The cover? The font? The font's made in Italy? Is the whole thing made in Italy? Who knows? You know, you're never going to really trust people. Anyway, let's get my... this is a 11 by 14 paper. I usually do 9 by 12. So you can tell that's quite a bit bigger. Yeah, see? This is what I normally use, 9 by 12. 11 by 14 is certainly a good bit bigger. It should, being the operative word, fit on my clipboard, but we're going to find out. And if it doesn't, then I don't know. We'll figure something out. Yeah, it just fits on there. So we can tape it around all the edges and it will still fit. Great. Scrap that. You and maybe, yes, I think that'll be fine. Yeah. So I'm going to keep it simple in a way. I'm going to just do the borders like I normally do, and then I'm just going to do one big diagonal stripe from corner to corner, or maybe from like partway up the edge to partway up the edge on this side. So I just have two big sections to worry about. One, normal colors, normal nebula colors, normal all of it, right? And I might, just for the sake of keeping it protected, cover the whole other side so I don't get anything on it. And then when I would do the reverse of that, I'll cover the other side up. So I'll get like another sheet of paper or something here in a minute and I'll figure that out. Another reason I want to use hot press paper for this as well is because when I use cold press paper and it's got the texture on it, when I use some of the cheaper, thinner masking tape, I have to really bear down hard. I call it tamping it down, but I have to bear down really hard to get it to stick and hope that the liquid, the water, the paint doesn't bleed through underneath it anywhere and mess up the pretty masking effect, right? But I figure with the with a hot press paper, because it's smooth, there'll be less ridges for the paper for the water to get under. So this might do a better job holding it down. So we'll find out together if that's going to work or not. Because again, this is literally my first time ever in painting, ever using hot press paper. Weird that it took me this long, but I just kind of got in my head, cold press, cold press. I need texture. Why? I don't know what I'm doing. Texture makes it look better. I don't know. So we're just going to see how it goes. I move this up a little bit so you got room to work. While I'm diddling around with getting this taped down, Goddess, how are you doing? I feel like it's been forever since I've talked. I've not been able to catch like your last stream or two because of work, so I've just been slammed. I think I saw one like really late stream you did doing 7 Days to Die. And that was one of my worst days and nights. It took me a long time to get home that day, and I was just beaten to death. So I did not feel like watching anyone. I'm so sorry. But I hope you had a lot of fun. I did not pull off enough tape. Well, maybe it'll work. Let's see. If it isn't, I'll peel it back off again. You can go here. Regardless, the point I was trying to make is I hope you're doing well. Well, I ended up taping that down and shifting it all over when I did it. How do I do that? You go there. You go there. Give me a nice even. Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what I could do? Flip it over. I'll have a tiny bit more real estate and it'll be at a slight slant. So some of the stuff will run a little better. And that way that tape is up there and I've got more room to work. I'll take that. Be taped. Yes, be taped. All right, that's good. Well, what the hell? Scoot over. It'll be fine. Oh my god, my OCD is like, straighten it up. It's cocked to the side, you jerk. I'm starting off so good today. Okay, that is done. It's weird. I could hear the music earlier, but it wasn't going into Meld Studio. It was to start with, but then it stopped. I tried switching to Apple Music, and it's possible it just doesn't play really nice with it. Like, in order to like pick out just that app and play its music, like I selected the name of the app that the audio is actually coming out from, but maybe it doesn't handle switching between scenes really well or something. I really don't know. Because I saw while it was not coming through anymore when I switched scenes, it was still coming through the desktop source, which I normally keep muted. I could have just unmuted that. It would have been all fine, but I didn't feel like it. So that's what we got. Is that lined up? Sort of. Did I do more on that side? It'll be fine. Yeah, looks okay. I'll probably put a tiny bit more tape right there just to cover any gaps so it doesn't slip around. It feels way smoother. I do like the feel of that. I have no idea how it's going to go when I get paint on it, or water for that matter. Smoother paper. It's so good to have smoother paper. Or so I assume. Because I've never used smoother paper. Well, I mean, that's a kind of a lie in a way. I've used smoother paper and then I've used mineral paper. But that's like this on crack. Like nothing gets through it. It all just settles on top. Okay. Yeah. And one more big boy. Big boy. Bob's big boy. All right. I am literally Bob's big boy. That was my dad's name. I never thought about that till now. That's really weird, but okay. It's because we didn't ever have a big boy where I lived, the restaurant. I don't even know how many there are. Just like the one or ones in California, I guess. I could ask the person behind me because they're from there. Or I could Google it. It would work just as fine. Wow, you know, I have to say, it is kind of nice not having music blasting in my ear. I like having it to the side, especially if I'm doing idle stuff and not really talking a lot. It helps fill the void in audio. But I also realize that because I exclude the music, Jesus, you just subscribed, and it was loud because there was no music. covering it up. Normally, the music helps kind of soften the blow of audio effects. Thank you so much for subbing, Goddess. I appreciate it. That's exciting. My first sub. Thank you. Yes, Goddess Whisperer subscribed with Prime. I love it. Thank you. Late reply. I was feeding my doggies. Never apologize for missing streams. Real life happens. Thank you. It sure does. And it did. It's you know, it's a thing. It's one of those you wish you could talk about it, but you can't because it's work. So, F it, right? It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing's wrong. Stop. Okay, I'm stopping. I think I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do like a, not from the corner, but near it, like from here to like here. So it's like not a full triangle, but it's more like a four-sided, like lopsided kind of deal. Grab that. And this is going to be a real test because this particular tape, the cheaper the set I've had for a while. It is very pretty and that it's multicolored. Yeah, you're my first sub in general. Free, not free, whatever the case may be, you're it. And I'm glad that it's you anyway. So thank you. This tape does not always stick very well to the cold press paper. I have to really press it down to make it work. But I think it might work a little better on the hot press paper because it is so smooth. I have a feeling it might hold down a little bit better. Have a little bit more purchase, as they say. You can go there. You can go there. You can press down. Whoops. I should pull that up and do that again because it wrinkled in the middle. That curved. I can see it from here. It curved a little bit when I did that. Let's try to fix that. Of course, tape works great when you stick it down and leave it. As soon as you start, pulling it back up again, I think it probably loses a tiny bit of its stickiness, but that's probably fine. Masking tape, on the other hand, does not really do that. It's pretty good about pulling back up and going back down. Its glue is not quite so permanent. Ooh, speaking of tape and glue and all that, something super interesting. I have been thinking for a while about wanting to try pre-stretching my paper. Because things like this, excuse me 1 second. Had to cough and I didn't want to do that in your ear. Let me get some coffee. Woo! Good stuff. I've been wanting to try pre-stretching my paper because a lot of what I do tends to be nearly edge to edge, right? And that makes the paper curl really badly. And it takes taping it down thoroughly to make it not do that quite so well, quite so much, or high quality paper or both, right? But I haven't actually seen a video of it, but I've seen articles that I've looked up about, I think it was just on Reddit, to be fair, on pre-stretching your paper and how that works. The suggestion is you wet your paper down thoroughly on one side and then blot it down. And then you flip it over and you wet it down thoroughly on the other side. And then you blot that down and you use a special kind of tape. I forget what it was called. I'll have to look for it, but it's got a type of glue that is water activated. That way, when it adheres to the top of your wet paper after you wet it, it's able to actually stick to the wet paper. That's how it activates, right? So you tape it down to anything, a piece of wood, a piece of cardboard, like whatever you need to put it down on to kind of be the backing plate that will help hold it and keep it flat, right? And then you let it dry for up to 24 hours before you use it, and you leave it on that. Like you don't take it off of it yet. You do your painting with it on that board with the paper pre-stretched, and it shouldn't curl at all. And then when you're done with your painting and it's totally dry, you use a blade, X-Acto knife, whatever, and you cut it away from the board and cut it away from the tape because the tape will never come off. It'll tear, it said. So you just use it to hold it down permanently, and then you cut the paper out from inside of that, and it'll be perfectly flat. So that really interests me, but I'd have to get something to tape it down to that I don't care about leaving the tape on forever without like scraping it off or heating it with a heat gun or something to get it off there. And I have to find that tape. So that's something I might do in the future. I don't know when, but it's just a thought I had because of what I do. And it might be interesting to find a flat backing that I can get a lot of cheaply, probably cardboard, and then make a bunch of them. Like after I do one experiment and I'm satisfied with it, assuming I'm satisfied with it, I'll make a bunch and just have them pre-stretched, pre-ready to go, and I'll put them somewhere safe to keep them clean. I'll have like 5 of them or 6 of them or something at the ready. So when I need one, I don't have to be like, oh man, I wish I had done that work a day before. I didn't think about it till now. I'll have them ready. A bunch of side, exposition, but it's something I really want to try to do. And I imagine it probably works better with the cold press paper because it's so absorbent. I'm actually interested if it would work on this too. Again, I haven't used this. I don't know how much this paper will even curl up if it does much. So this is all experimental. All right. So let's think it through. What color do I want to do for my nebula? I'm not going to do a bunch of multicolor. I'm going to pick just one because I want to be able to semi-easily be able to do the reverse color of it on the other side, right? And because the whole thing is going to be 2 main colors with all of the side, lighter and darker space colors and stars that I'm going to do. So I have to pick colors on opposite sides of the color wheel from each other. So I'm thinking, well, let's go through the colors. So we can do like a red color. I just went through this earlier. So there's red, and then the opposite of red is green. So I can do a reddish and a greenish color. Yellow, and the opposite of yellow is a violet. Or a blue, and the opposite of a blue is an orange. Yeah, I got that right. I don't have a color wheel in front of me. The one I made a long time ago is like tucked away in something somewhere. I don't feel like looking for it. I could make a new one, but F it. And I don't feel like looking one up. So we're just going to go with that. That being said, those are some of the possibilities. I can do all kinds of side tertiary colors and just color mixes and just find a color I like and then have to figure out how to make its opposite. So I could do that. Just pick a random color, mix a good portion of it, and have it at the ready. And then I'll have to do the opposite. Well, I like the idea of red and green sounds nice, but it makes me feel like a stoplight, and I don't like the idea of that on paper. I don't know why. I'm sure at some point I'll be cool with it, but right now, doesn't sound that great. A bluish color sounds nice. And again, the opposite of blue is orange. I could do a bluish one and an orange one, but what side would be better in darkness and what side would be better in light? I could do orange for the normal side and like a cerulean, a bluish color or whatever for the negative, the reverse image. So it would be like blue and white with black stars on the one side. I think that seems kind of feasible. Yeah, let's do that. At least to start for the first one, pick colors that I can at least find the opposites of easily. So yeah, I think we'll do that. So more coffee. Yum, yum, yum. And yeah, let's mix some up. Let me pick a brush. I'll start big. Oh, well, you know what I need? I need to do my thing I said where I'm going to cover it. Well, covering isn't important to begin with. It's only important for the last part where I'm going to flick some stars on it because I don't want to get that on the other side because it'll make a mess. like it's going to everywhere else. But I think I can just fake it and just use, hang on now. Oh, wow, that was weird. I just shifted and my back popped. It actually felt, felt really good. Um, oh, even this is not long enough to fully cover that up. That's wild. But I can fake it. I could always do that. And then, I could do a sheet of paper down and then put this down on it and then flick any stars that I need to on it, dry it, and then pull this all away. And I'll do it on the opposite side. So yeah, I'll just use that. I'll just keep it to the side, ready to go. um, so what side will I start with then is the question I have for myself. I think to be easy, I might do this kind of deal. Maybe this way so that it is something I can actually reach. And I'll do the side facing me. And then when the time comes to flick the stars on it, I'll cover up the other side somehow. And then do my stars, let that dry, and then I'll turn this whole thing around and work on the other side. So, all right, let's think it through. How are we going to do our nebula today? Are we going to do it on wet? Or am I going to put my color down on dry and wet it as I go? The colors flow better when I do it on wet, at least for the first layer. So I'm probably going to do that. So before I do that, let me get a well of my orange color because I'm doing an orange nebula on the normal color side. So let's figure that out. I already have some orange here, but it's kind of dirty. I could mix some more on top of it, which sounds like a good idea. So let me just pick a red. I don't have, actually I have it right here. Here is my swatch for this palette. I'll use this permanent red light because it's more warm. And I will put a bunch of it on my brush, load it up, and add it to this orange that's over here. Get a little bit more water. And just mix this whole left side and just mix everything that's over here together so it's uniform. Okay. Try to pull off as much as I can without flinging it into everything else like I do. Okay. Get that out of there. Rinse that. I need to get better at cleaning my brushes. This one's got like a permanent blue stain in it from indigo and other stuff. I know it doesn't really hurt it unless it stays in it. Oh, ad starting. But Goddess, you won't have to see it anymore. Ha ha ha, because you're subbed. That's a lot of fun. Okay, and let's get some yellow. Add some water to this and mix up some of the yellow. I'm going to add it to my red and orange that was already there. Get myself a good amount of some orange in there. All right, and I'm going to leave it just to the side and wet. Then move this out of the way. I'll put it over here for now. And let's go ahead and wet the page down, with the only clean water I have left. I'll probably do that. At some point, I need to get some of that Borgon? Is that it? I always forget the name of the darn thing, but the medium that you use to like repair and reshape your brushes, and then just break out some soap and water and just clean all of my most used brushes thoroughly and try to get everything out of them and then recondition them with that gum arabic. Maybe it's gum arabic. I really don't remember. I'll have to look it up. But that way it will bring them back into their original shapes, or at least as closely as possible. And try to give them back some life. I honestly don't know, when does a brush become totally unusable? I mean, I don't know if any brush really ever becomes totally unusable unless you put a material in it that dries that will never come out, even without chemicals. So that's possible. But I'm hoping with only using watercolors in these, even if they dry in them, I should be able to get most of it out, and at least the texture of the fibers in the brush will stay the same. Okay. Because this is hot press, this is definitely pooling on it a little bit. So I think I might let it sit for a moment and try to soak in before I hit it. And yeah, it is. Let me look it up. Oh, you bought a bottle of wine today. You're going to do a drinking stream tomorrow just for fun. Ooh. The last time I drank alcohol was a glass of wine with dinner last Christmas. Yeah, I'm not big on alcohol either. He's dead now, so I can talk about him. My dad was an alcoholic. So no offense to him. May he rest in peace. The side of him that was an alcoholic wasn't attractive. Like most people that are alcoholics, it's never really attractive to varying degrees. And his was usually the bad kind. The yelly, screamy, dark and brooding, looks like in a second he could kill someone kind of bad. It wasn't great, right? So I'm not really attracted to wanting to get drunk all the time, ever. That being said, I am also diabetic, type 2. Yes, I did it to myself, whatever. Because of that, my alcohol options are very limited anyway, and I'd never really liked the flavor of this stuff anyway. So we drink very, very rarely. Literally, the last time I had alcohol was just a couple days ago because I was, again, it's been a bad week. And my other half was like, let's get something extra to help you try to forget, I guess. And I just had, it was like a apple cider thing. I forget the brand, but it's the one that's like 2 apples in every can. Anyway, I can't have much of it anyway because it's got a bunch of sugar in it, but it was a special occasion, I guess you could say. And I can't remember the last time I had alcohol before that. Maybe wine, like many months ago, like a sip because we got it to cook with or something. Like I really don't remember. That's how infrequent it is, right? But anyway, it's just read a message from work. Why did I read that? Anyway, yeah, so alcohol doesn't really happen here, at least not much. I do enjoy herbal remedies more, but you stopped that too because you wanted your dreams back. Same here on frequency, which will make it interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I was looking up, it's not guar gum. Is it gum arabic? No. Okay. It might be gum arabic. Gum arabic to restore watercolor brushes. I've looked this up before. So yes, that's what it is.
Shoot your watercolor brushes and make them go from this to this. All you need is a bottle of gum arabic. Pour a little bit in a small container, dip the bristles into it. Tap off any excess on the side, shape it with your fingers, and lay it on its side to dry. Repeat this process with any brushes that need shaping. Gum arabic is the main binder in many watercolor paints, and it's what brush manufacturers use to give brushes that crisp point they have when they're new. After the gum arabic has dried, your bristles will have that stiff new brush feeling. You can bend the bristles and give them a rinse to remove the gum arabic. The bristles should retain their shape. And that's today's trick. See you tomorrow.
Hopefully that audio came through. But yeah, it's gum arabic. I had to double check because I didn't remember. Yeah, so it's truly you thoroughly clean your brushes, soap and water, get any of the gunk out of them, old dried paint, that sort of thing, right? Just to really clean all the gunk out before you seal it. And then you use gum arabic apparently to soak the bristles through, shape them, like wipe off any excess, like the lady said, leave it to dry. And then when it's completely dry, you can flick it to break it apart, right? Like you do when you have a brand new brush. And it loosens all the bristles up, but they'll retain any curve, fan shape that you had in the original brush to bring it back. And I imagine that's super useful. And wow, this totally dried right there. And it is rippling a little bit. I can see it. So yeah, let me re-wet it and stop yammering so I can put some paint on the paper. But yeah, I plan to do that at some point. It's just whenever I get around to buying gum arabic, I'll have to double check how much it is. It's not insane. But I think would be very useful to have at some point, that's probably one of the next things on my wish list to get for like watercolor supplies is some of those containers like this one from Winsor Newton that has those different things in it. So I've got some to the side. I already mentioned before, I want to get that iridescent medium. So you can make pretty much any paint that you have, that metallic iridescent effect. And a granulation medium and the gum Arabic are the only three that I'm at the moment really interested in. So at some point, it's in my like Amazon wish list, so I can get it whenever. One of them. I'll just get like one at a time because some of them are expensive. They can be like, I don't know, like 12 to 20 something bucks, $25, sometimes more. But it comes in a little bottle that you use next to none of it. So it'll last me probably decades at the rate I'll use it. So it's like a one-time purchase forever for me. All right, let's get some orange in here. I'm going to try to do better than I normally do. I'm going to try to get my colors to the edge because I'm really, really bad about making like trying to center the space in the middle and surround it with indigo, which might work if you're looking at a nebula from an extreme distance, but sometimes the image you want it to be, you know, partially up close and like cropped, right? You don't want it to be just, oh, look, it's a stripe of orange in the middle and a crop ton of indigo. You know, that's it is what I do, but I really need to be able to do different things with it. So that's me yammering. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get it like in the corners and some of the sides, and I'll just see how it goes. Get right in there and get some really deeper color. Right. Put more in there. Some in that one up against it. Let's get some over here. Right. All right. Put some more in the middle of this guy. A little bit more. Just while it's wet, I'm just going to keep adding like little pools of it where it's the darkest. And try to get some difference between the lighter bits and the darker bits now while it's wet. And hopefully, because of the type of paper it is, being hot press, it should spread out a good bit more than I'm used to. Okay. And hopefully, as it dries, it won't spread out as much, so the darker color will be more concentrated right where I'm putting it. Okay. Let that go for a minute. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. I think that's a good idea because there's some here that could use a little love. This one, all my round brushes, I use my round brushes to death, so they really could use some love. Like here's my, what is it, size 2? Yeah, size 2 round brush. You can see he's a little worse for wear. Well, come on, focus. Yeah, it's a little worse for wear. It's focus for me. Little things will not focus quite well on this, so that's fine. But yeah, the end of the brush is kind of going any way he wants. Same with this one. This one's kind of held its shape pretty well, but it's got some blue stuck in it. So yeah, I just want to try to clean them the best I can and see how they come out. And then other ones like my wash brush is getting kind of funky like that too. And just some of my other ones. Yeah, this poor guy. It's Aquafine. Princeton #1 wash heritage selection. I think it's no Aquafine is this one, isn't it? Let's say Aquafine on it. Oh, Aqua Elite. I'm sorry, Aqua Elite on this one. So this is just a standard #1 1-inch wash brush. But this one too is a little discolored. The shape is good, but the color the bristles are kind of covered in indigo. Can you guess where it came from? That's right. This guy. This guy right here. If all else fails, you can blame it on me, said the bare naked ladies. And probably a bunch of people aside from them. All right. Do another little scent. Scent? Why did I say that? I was going to say a bunch of scribbles. For some reason, my brain was like, scent! Anyway. Just add just some globs of some darker orange right there. Yeah. All right. Go ahead and clean my brush out. Oh, yeah, I just read that. Like spirit gum actors use to remove glue that holds their ears on. Yeah, I actually really didn't know that was a thing until an I Love Lucy episode, actually. I don't know if you ever watched I Love Lucy. It's a very great old show. I say old, but it is. Great show. And the one episode where I remember that from is where Ricky was trying to grow a mustache and Lucy absolutely hated it. So to revolt, she got a beard from Fred and they were going to attach it to her face with spirit gum and accidentally used cement and it got glued to her face. It was a really funny episode. Yeah, that's the only time I ever knew spirit gum was a thing, was from that. Otherwise, I had no idea it existed. I thought people just adhered things with glue and they just suffered and had to peel it off. Lucy was brilliant. Yes, agreed. A brilliant person and an absolute joy and a marvelous wonder that she is the reason Star Trek exists today at all. Gene Roddenberry is great, but it would not have seen the light of day without Lucille Ball, which is just amazing to me. Right. I think I'm going to go ahead and start adding in some of my spacey colors. So I'm going to go with a cerulean color, and then I'm going to add some of my Payne's Gray and indigo. So I get some varying dark colors. I tend to kind of lean toward just one, usually indigo, but I realize that's just kind of like a one note. So I'm trying to mix it up and have different shades in there. So let me get a little bit of cerulean. This one is Winsor Newton French Ultramarine, actually. French Ultramarine. And I think let me get a little more water in it. I want it to be a little thinner. Okay. Let's go like near the edge on this one. And over here. And I know how I am. Let me turn this and try to get some kind of different angles going on because I already see I've got like a straight line thing going on here. And let's switch to Payne's Gray. I have a little bit here, but I'll just add it to what I've already got. Whoop. A little bit of indigo in there. Whoop. So far, I like the paper. I see no problems with it. Any faults are my own. All right. Clean the brush out. And let's mix up a little bit more of our orange. Okay. Yeah, a little more yellow. A little bit more yellow than the other one was. Might add a little bit more red back to it. Hence the danger of not making enough your first time through. There we go. Okay. And it's going to add a little bit more orange in some spots. Use Do something I never do and pick on a fan brush. Do 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 I know what I'm doing with my fan brush? No. Just trying not to have pure straight lines, and I'm trying to get like some different angles to try to like feather it a little bit, maybe. But have it not be just blobs. You know what I mean? Okay. Oops. Okay. Have I done enough damage? Maybe. Find out. Really clean my brush this time. You love my Thursday stream. You're always pooped by this time on Thursday, so it's a perfect relaxing stream to unwind with. Oh, thank you. I'm glad. Especially on days like this where I'm not playing any music or anything. I'm sure it's way more peaceful because there's nothing else going on. It's just silence and then brush strokes. Hey, let me dry this off. Or actually, it's so wet, I might need to blot some of it to make it look good anyway. So let's. I forgot I'm still way zoomed in, aren't I? That's probably fine. This right here is way, way too full of stuff. But I realize I can help cloud it up a little bit too by blotting some of the darker bits. Helps it add some cloud texture to it. Right. That should help it dry a little better too. No puddles. So stupid. I'll explain why in a second. So I realized I did something kind of stupid, right? So my idea here was to do negatives, right? To be able to do a color on one side and do whatever the opposite side of the color wheel was on the other side. But I realized I put orange and I put some blue in here. And I realized I've got some of the darker indigo and a bunch of white space. So on the opposite side, it's going to be dark and light, the opposite of the dark and light, and it's going to be an orangish color along with a bluish color. So it's going to look almost like the same thing on the other side, except for probably the stars. But let's look anyway, because, see what it looks like. Well, of course, this is an app with ads, so I have to wait for the ad to play before I can use the camera with a negative filter on it. Hit the X button, please. No, I don't want to go to your page. Stop. Let me out of ad hell, please. Let me out. How many buttons do I have to press? Okay, there we go. Jesus, let's take a picture of it before something happens. All right, let's go look at our picture. Not that one. That one. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. The opposite color of a lot of what I did here is pretty much the blue that I used to the side here. And weirdly, the indigo color turned a kind of brownish color. Let me zoom in so you can see it. See, so it wasn't a great color combination to choose to do opposites. I should have really done like I said I shouldn't have done and stuck with one color for the space coloring. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're just going to do what we want to do on the other side, and then we're going to blast through and do it again and try to get the colors right. So let's do this real quick, and we're just going to do two. All right. So let's go ahead and go batty, and we're just going to do random stuff. We're just going to knock out some random stuff that has nothing to do with what we planned on this side just to finish this one and get it off the table. And my random BS sometimes turns into neat looking things. We'll see. So silly. All right. So silly. I don't know why I didn't think of that until now. Like total last minute thoughts, but I mean, still kind of interesting. All right. I'm literally just doing whatever the hell I want. I mean, that's what everything is, but especially now more than ever, I'm doing whatever the hell I want. We're just going crazy, doing random crazy things. I need some more water so I can do some yellow in places. Doing random things. Doing a lot of random things. Why don't I do some random things? I'm doing some random things. All right. Why am I singing? I don't know. Just because there's no music, I need to have some ambience. Ambiance. Ambience. Ambiance. The difference is a pinky. If you want to sound like an uppity, rich white person, you stick your pinky up. Why does that matter? Why did I even say that? I don't know. Why do I do anything I do? Like, literally, why do I do anything I do? I don't know. Just do and say weird shit. And not even like in a great side-splitting, har funny way either. I just say weird shit. Now what? Totally random. Doesn't mean it's great, but it's there. I'm just doing the random stuff because I want it done. Doesn't mean it's gonna be good, but it's gonna be done. All right. Just gonna go. Nope, doesn't look good at all. Nope, really hate it. Take a dirty orange. I don't like it. Nope, that just muddied it, made it look ugly. But I did it, so I have to commit to it now in some form or fashion. So that's about as far as I'm going to go with that mess. All right, it's colors. All right. I thought orange, whatever. Why do we do the things I do? What's wrong with me? All right. Let's dry that off. Put some tape over here. Let's dry this off. Put some stars on it. Coffee time. Wine time. It's funny. You know what I originally wanted to do today? And Goddess, it was because of you. The last stream you did that I saw where you were painting and you were doing your mountains, covering up the old mountains you did, and what I thought was a giraffe. It looked like a giraffe. But it was a tree. I wanted to do like a mountain theme. It's on my list. I had like some thoughts for what to do today, and I landed on the negative thing, which didn't really quite work out as I planned, but hey, yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, I kind of wanted to do that. I might still. Maybe we'll do that next instead of trying to do this again. And we'll do that on smaller paper so I can have leeway to make mistakes. I might do that. It's the beauty of me. I can do whatever the hell I want. Let's get this. Let's get our acrylic white. Get these right here. That's the acrylic. That's really ugly. Stop doing that voice. Nobody likes it. I don't like it. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes that sound. All right, let's. Robert says me. Give me some whites. I don't need much because I'm not going to use a lot. All right, close that up. Right, we get a little water. Oh, actually, wait. Let's tape. Go over there. Swatch can go back over this way. That almost cascaded right off the other side. All right, we're gonna put this guy here. Bonk. Let me get my brushes out of the way. Maybe I'll flip that up here. Yeah. And then this guy over here. Try to block some of that off. There we go. And that way any white that I get will not go on the other side. All right. Let's put this somewhere safe. So I don't hit it so bad. I need to get some clean water. I'll do that in a minute. Let's get some of the white and start a flicking. Start a flicking and a flacking. I try to be gentle with it because I don't want it to get literally everywhere, which I do all the time. Yep, I'm still managing to get it everywhere. Whatever. That's what this area is for, so. The more the better? I don't know. Okay. Clean that off thoroughly because it's acrylic. Get out of here. Get out of here, acrylic. We don't want you here. We're a watercolor town. All right. And push him to the side. Maybe wipe off the white paint I got on the side of my brush here somehow. Mark it. And break out the heat gun. All right. Stay there. And we're going to flip. Yoop. Okay, I'll do the same thing. Put this guy over on this. All right. And this time we're going watercolor. Actually, it doesn't matter that the color of the water is dark because I'm going for black. Okay, let's get some dark stars. And maybe some more water. Oh. That's not really wanting to come off of there. I need to lay it on a little thicker. There we go. Just needed to mean it. Whoops. Wasn't paying attention and I painted the side of my brush. At least this watercolor is able to come off. We made some tom kha soup the other night. So good. Man, if you ever have tom kha soup when you go out somewhere and love it, make it at home. It's so much cheaper and you can control every bit of it. You want more or less of something, you can do that. But man, just following a great recipe and just having it the same way they make it is so flipping good. Good stuff, man. Right. And then same as with the other one, let me get this off my brush. All right, that's good. Yep. And break out the heat gun. All right, let's get that guy out of here. Let's get this guy out of here. Let's peel this puppy and move on to what we're going to figure out to do next. I might change my mind, like I said, and go to the to some mountains. We'll see. Whoa! We are tearing paper. Let's try from the other direction. Probably peeling too fast. And I went straight up instead of sideways like this. Yeah. Paper's a little bit messed up on that side, but it'll be fine. It's in the white space, so you can't really see it unless you're looking for it. Right. And you. Okay. Oh, actually, I should do the middle one. Yeah, I need to go slow. I guess because it is hot press paper and it has more surface area, it really is sticking to it better, the tape. But I think that means I just need to take more caution and care in peeling it off so I don't rip the paper. Because I can feel it's on there harder than it was before on any of my other paper. Yoink. Right. Clearly it's not the colors I intended. Because I just kind of realized I made a mistake and I just winged it the rest of it. But still, I think it's pretty nice. Oh. How did I manage that? That was completely covered. Oh, there must have been a hole right there. Well, some got in on the corner, but whatever, it's fine. We'll just call that a happy little accident. Excuse me. Stay. Decided in that one spot, I got some really good crisp lines from the tape. Just messed up in that top corner. Oh, that's the corner that the I didn't go far enough over, and I tried to go over it with another piece of tape, and it must not have been down enough. That is almost definitely from me then. No, it was entirely me because I'm the only one here. What am I thinking? No, that's cute. It's cute. It's a nice little like dual color painting. I like how that came out. It may not be the mirror image, or not the mirror image, the negative image version that I wanted to do, but it's a nice color. I like it. White stars on one side, black stars on the other. That's not bad. All right, let's try something else. I think I will return to my cold press paper. Oh, gravity's a bitch, people. Watch out. All right. I'm going to set my headphones down. I'm going to go clean out my water because it's scuzzy. I'll be right back. Really? So my be right back button's not working anymore. Let's try that. Hold please while I fix the screen. BRB. No selection. It's right there. It's right there, you jerk. Yeah, it's right there. All right. Now check out the be right back screen. Now I'll be right back.
Listen to me very carefully because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
Fourth, and on a day like today, it won't be my last. Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course. There's coffee in that nebula. Listen to me very carefully because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
Fourth, and on a day like today, it won't be my last. Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course. There's coffee in that nebula. Listen to me very carefully, because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
Fourth, and on a day like today, it won't be my last. Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course. There's coffee in that nebula. Listen to me very carefully, because I'm only going to say this once. Coffee. Black.
Coffee. Black. While I've got your attention, there are...
Coffee first. Well, this mentor would like another cup of coffee. I'm just gonna have to give up coffee. Want some coffee?
If I'm not mistaken, that's your third cup this morning.
Fourth, and on a day like today, it won't
be my last.
Coffee. The finest organic suspension ever devised. Commander, set a new course.
Okay, that's enough of that. Man, I want to see a Star Trek movie with Janeway. Girl, you and me both. God, I want them to bring her back so bad. They did bring her back for Star Trek Prodigy, the cartoon they did on Nickelodeon. I think it was on Nickelodeon, and they canceled it and brought it over to somewhere else. Netflix? I don't remember. They brought them to another channel or another streaming service for their second and final season. I haven't seen the second season yet, but it's got Janeway and Chakotay and maybe a few other surprises in it that I don't know. But yeah, they brought her back for that. So like for a voice role, I was really hoping we'd see her on the last season of Picard. But no such luck. We got 709 though, and like the entire TNG cast. So, I mean, the last season of Picard was great. Oh, right, because you don't have Paramount Plus. Did you get to see any of Star Trek Picard at all? Because it's amazing. Oh, you didn't hear all that? You're in the kitchen? Janeway? Yeah, so they brought Kate Mulgrew back to reprise the role of Janeway as Admiral Janeway in the Star Trek Prodigy cartoon show they made for kids. I saw the whole first season. It was on Paramount Plus, and the second season, I think they put on Netflix. So they could recover. They already had the story written and everything ready to go, but it just got dropped out of nowhere by Paramount. So they picked it up because it was like, I guess, low effort to complete it, and they wanted to get the story out there. But yeah, it's got all kinds of great stuff in it. It's on Nickelodeon originally, so it was for kids. And there's a bunch of kids that end up on the ship and kind of in control of it because they have no other choice in the matter, which gets explained in the show. It's cute, and some of the characters weren't great, which is probably one of the reasons why they ended up canceling it. I don't know. But yes, they did bring her back for that. Chakotay as well. And then Picard. Oh, the last season of Star Trek Picard. I mean, all of them were really good in their own way, but the last season of Picard, genius. Has John Delancey in it. It's got all of the original TNG cast, except for Tasha Yar, of course, because they killed her. Or Pulaski. She's not in it either. But they brought back some surprise guests in that one. That was so good. Oh, girl. If you can do anything in the world, if you can find anything, and you don't need to know anything about the previous seasons of Star Trek Picard really at all, it almost stands alone entirely on its own. Try to find a way to watch season 3 of Star Trek Picard. Great show. So good. I was thinking they did new actors for Kirk, Spock, etc. for the movies. I'd love to see that with Voyager. Really? You'd want to see a recast of people doing Voyager? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. That's hard. There's got to be some continuity between the two. If there was going to be like a new season of Voyager, it'd be like the Voyager A, like a refit or something, where they send it back out with some of the tech that they got from the Delta Quadrant. They wouldn't. They would just strip it down and be like a bare bones. It's the way it was when it was designed. But if they did send them back out, it would be like a new mission where they actually don't get kicked out. No, a movie reboot, but they're kind of ruining it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why. I guess there was so much time between the original series and the reboots that it was so far separated from it that it doesn't hurt quite so much. You know what I mean? As it being very different and new. Like, I was ready to accept it because we needed some fresh blood, right? Voyager feels like it wasn't that long ago, even though it was 20 years ago. No. 30. 30 years ago. 30 years ago. It came out in 95, right? Ugh. That's gross. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. No. Yeah. No. I don't want. No. I mean, yes and no. Part of me is yes. Part of me is no. If they did it and they did an actual reboot and not a sequel movie, it would be hard. A sequel movie, I could get 100% behind because they will do something to carry over from the old to the new in some way. You know what I mean? But see, Janeway would be badass now. However, it has to be Kate Mulgrew. That's why I'm saying if it was a reboot, Lana Torres. If it was a reboot, they're going to have entirely new actors, and they're going to play them differently, and they're going to be just different people, and it's just going to feel like a knockoff. You know what I mean? It's going to feel like a knockoff, but I feel like if they did a actual sequel, it could be a whole new version of Voyager, and let them do something different. Maybe let them have some technology that lets them revisit the Delta Quadrant, which I think they've done in books and comics, I think. You know what I mean? I'm thinking like an old person now. No! Oh, fatality. I mean, it's kind of true. I mean, I already don't like anybody around me, so... And I don't like all the kids these days. And I remember when gas was under $1 a gallon. And tacos too. But I mean, that was yesterday, right? Who am I kidding? So silly. I don't know. I mean, it's fine. God, has it really been 30 fucking years? Sorry, pardon my French. 30 flipping years? That is ridiculous. Oh, they do reboots from shows that are younger than that all the time. I mean, before you know it, they're going to reboot the Twilight series. I've never even seen any of those. I don't really care to. I like the idea. I don't like the show. I don't like the idea of that show. I don't know why. It feels too romantic, and I'd rather it be slightly shifted, more sci-fi. Anyway, yeah, well, I got some paint in the back of my hand. Oh, I got paint on my nail. Oh, look at that. Well, I'll wash it off later. Hey, I got some dots. Right there, a freckle and a blemish on my nail from it. I don't know. Okay, so let's reflect. If they did a reboot of Voyager, they would redesign the ship in some way to make it similar but different in a way that may or may not be attractive. So you have to be willing for that ship design to be different enough that it's not the same ship, but similar enough that it honors the original in a way that does not make anyone, new or old fan, want to throw up when they see it. Then they have to do the same thing with all of the cast. And if you're talking about a reboot, it means they're going to do the same thing. They're going to get lost in the Delta Quadrant. But if it's a movie, how much of the story would you tell? Would you tell the first episode and let that be the entirety of it? Would you condense the entire series into one movie? Would you do like Harry Potter and make it be a 7-year or 8-year extravaganza? Like what method do you think would make sense? Like, I think realistically, if it was a reboot in movie form, they would just recreate the first episode and end with them setting course for home. If they try to condense it down into one movie, the whole thing, it would be, well, what's the point? It's like, ooh, we got lost. Oh, we're home in 2.5 hours and it's over. That wouldn't make any sense, right? So it would have to be just the first episode and getting lost. Which is exactly what you said. I just looked over. That leaves it open for additional movies. It does, but it would be so tough, right? How do you sell the first episode of Voyager, expand it out to be a movie, and make it so good that people want to come back? I could see that you'd want to do that because, quite frankly, like nearly every show in existence, the first episode of a thing is not always the best because they're still finding their footing, right? And the first episode was good, but it has some failings, just a couple. I would say like there's a tiny bit, just skosh of overacting by some people who shall not be named. Neelix. They started Neelix out so dirty. He had so much potential later in the show, but I think because of the way that they wrote him in the beginning of the show, people were turned off seeing him at all. You know what I mean? And that's so sad because I think the actor, Ethan Phillips, seemed like a really great guy. And he did do, especially later on, an amazing job. Like Neelix, you know when Neelix shone? When they got rid of Cass. As soon as they got rid of Cass, he became such a more interesting and more developed character because he wasn't like lovesick, like hanging on to her everything. And that just changed him from some like lovesick pedophile into, and yes, I'm calling him a pedophile because Cass was like 4 years old or something. Like, yeah, well, I mean, that's an argument that a lot of people make one way or the other for, but I think the way he acted was gross. And the way they wrote him to be that way was gross. But I think if they made him like his later seasons version of himself, I think that would be wonderful. Because all of his later season stuff was wonderful. He was a mentor. He was resourceful. He was like the counselor for the ship. He was the Guinan. You know what I mean? Without the cool hat. That would be tough. That would be tough. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. The one Star Trek thing I would like to see be made, maybe into a movie. I want to see the return of Benjamin Sisko. If you've watched Deep Space Nine, like front to back, and you love that series at all, you want to see Sisko return. I would love to see them bring him back. That would be so good. Like, even if it's not in a movie, even if it's in like one of these like miniseries and they bring him back for like some side thing, it would be nice. I don't know. We'll see. I would love to see that though. I overlapped on this side a little bit too much. Well, I could fix that by overlapping on this side the same amount. It won't look so bad. Oh, excuse me. God, Deep Space Nine movie would be kind of awesome. There we go. DS9 actually never got into? Okay. Let me preach. Nope. Let me preach it. All right. So I felt the same way. So just backing up a very slight amount. When I was growing up, my first Star Trek was The Next Generation. I caught it about halfway through the series. and watched it from that point forward and reruns after it went off air with my dad. I never got to see the original series until reruns. After that, immediately was Voyager. Well, not immediately, but not too long after that was Voyager. No, Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine first, then Voyager. Deep Space Nine came out. I agree. I looked at like a couple episodes and I was like, this doesn't feel like Star Trek. This is boring. This is a bunch of like political bullshit I don't care about, or religious stuff that I really don't care about. And so I never went back to it because I was young then. I didn't really care for it. And then Voyager came out and I was like, I'm in heaven. This is my show. Voyager was my Star Trek, if we want to label it as that. Fast forward many years in the future. I don't remember when. I got from my friend in college some VHS tapes of a few Deep Space Nine episodes. One of them, more than anything, that was really amazing and stood out to me was Trials and Tribulations. It's their version of the Trouble with Tribbles from TOS, where they went back in time and they slipstreamed them in so perfectly with the old shots from the show that it looked like it was meant to be. Like they did an amazing job mixing them together. That got me down the rabbit hole of a couple other tapes that I got from that friend as well that were also incredibly good. And once I realized I was watching all of them, it was great. And so then I didn't have all the tapes. I only had like a dozen. Then I had to go find the show and actually watch the whole thing from beginning to end. And it's just like almost every other Star Trek out there. It starts slow and plotting, and there are brief moments in the show where it feels like it's going a weird route, like with the political and all that stuff, but it really does next to none of that. Somehow, the only parts I saw when I very first saw that it existed was the bit that was boring. Everything around that was a hit. All of it, except for like onesies, twosies of really weird situations, right? It genuinely is a great show. Like, if I had to pick very specific episodes and go find those and be like, no, here, DS9 really is good. Watch these and fall in love with it the same way I did. I would do that if you cared. It does really well. It just feels hard because they're stationary. Because they're on a station to start with, right? They have their moments where they get to break out and go away, but it feels like some of the exploration is lost at first because they're on a station. They're rebuilding the station and figuring out what their place is in that area, right? And then they start going out on runabouts. They're shuttles. They're bigger than shuttles, smaller than ships. They go into the wormhole and they start exploring stuff over there. They meet people. Crazy shit happens. They still have their weird sci-fi, weird Technobabble of the Week episodes, just like TNG did. And it grows on you and it gets better. And then the Dominion War happens. They change the uniforms and they get the Defiant, and it just becomes TNG. It becomes a fully fledged show at that point. Like, it just, I don't know, it's amazing. Q's in one episode. So they had him in there. They had Picard in only the first episode. They had Jonathan Frakes come back, but he didn't play Riker. He played his twin, Thomas Riker. If you remember the TNG episode where there was the transporter accident a long time prior, and he didn't know that his twin duplicate was sent back onto the planet. Thomas Riker comes back. Ro Laren comes back. Just amazing, amazing, amazing show. Not as amazing as Voyager, but amazing. Oh, and then, what is the one episode? It's like one of my favorite, like, Technobabble of the Week episode that's so good is it One Small Ship? One Little Ship? Let me look it up. DS9. One Little Ship. So flipping good. The shorthand of that one I will tell you, and then I'll move on to painting. In One Little Ship, the shorthand is they are going out in a runabout. It's O'Brien, Jadzia Dax, Bashir, and I don't remember who else. Maybe Kira? No, maybe it was just the three of them. We're going out on a runabout. They were exploring a spatial anomaly that was like a nebula that had some sort of ability to make things shrink and enlarge in somehow. And as they flew closer to it, they were shrinking in size, and they needed to follow an exact path to make their way back out again. And to help stabilize them, the Defiant was using a tractor beam on them to keep them safe and steady to be able to come back so they don't get lost, right? In the process, while they're tiny, teeny tiny, like very tiny, very near the anomaly, the ship, the Defiant, gets attacked, the tractor beam breaks off, and they have to try to make their way back on their own. And when they do get back, they're still small. And the ship has been taken over by Jem'Hadar, Dominion enemies. So from there, it's just a bunch of hijinks and craziness where the ship, the runabout, is flying inside the Defiant, trying to help the rest of the crew that's there in full size fight back. It's such a great, really fun, cute episode. They have amazing stories, and they get missed if you do like I did and thought that it was kind of garbage to begin with and the whole show must have been trash. It really just feels like that for like a bit of the first season, and then it grows into itself. It grows up and fits its hand-me-down clothes. You know what I mean? Like, it gets so much better. Okay, I'll stop yammering. I love Star Trek. I'll talk about it all day long, so I gotta move on. Don't have a tremendous amount of time. I'm already at 2 hours, so I'm gonna start this process and then let it dry, and we'll come back to it. Let me go ahead and get a sky going. But before I do that, let me sketch in where I want the first section of mountains to be. I think I will have a good bit of sky up above, and I'll just do some kind of, I don't know, I'm really just gonna that feels more like a tree, but I'll fix that. I'll fix it in post. And then go down there. Then we'll do one here. Okay. And maybe we'll, and I will leave it like that. All right. And that's all I'm going to do for that. Just so that we can get some color in up top. All right. So let me pick on, I think I'll do my Payne's Gray. I will, let me add a good bit of water to it. It needs to be pretty transparent, I think. Okay. And for fun, let's get some in that right there. Right. So let's get some, that really pulled in a ton of the indigo. I don't think I'm going to use that. No. Let me get some Payne's Gray and just put it in the well next to it. That's better. I want it to be a gray color. I don't want it to be space. The Final Frontier. For you, it's just the characters. I didn't connect with the characters so much. There was that one lady, she did nothing for me. I'm guessing Kira. I remember the only character I really liked was the alien guy with black hair. I forget what species. Garrick? I'm guessing Garrick, the Cardassian. Spoonhead. The one that's got the divot in the middle of their forehead. Probably him. And they brought Michael Dorn back as Worf on Deep Space Nine as well. So there's a lot of like traditional characters that came back, in a couple in varying ways. All right, let's just get some sky up here. I'm liking. Come on, be nice. That we'll call that. Right. And then let's try it off. Once again. Yeah, that's already dry. He was a Cardassian, Derek. Yes. Yeah. Derek was amazing. Bashir is his not boyfriend, but he acted like it. Yeah, no, it was an absolutely, absolutely amazing show. Amazing. Yes. And there's no color to it at all. Cool. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know how well you're seeing that on camera. I have it tilted up so I can see it. Will this be good? Who knows? Even Odo didn't go for you. Yeah, I mean, Odo fell into the same problem that all the other ones did. They didn't really find their footing until like a second and third season. They started finally doing the episodes that make them look like people, and then it's like, oh, I guess I'll care about you. And again, they just grow on you. You end up finding out why they are the way that they are, just like him. Let's do. Actually, I need to do a little darker. All right. Try this guy on. The other Star Trek show that did nothing for you was Enterprise. Yeah, Enterprise was really hard to get into, especially later on. I really enjoyed most of the first season and a good portion of the second, but they lost me on the third season completely. Like, I watch it begrudgingly. The whole temporal Cold War thing is like kind of garbage. I love the ship. The ship is great. Some of the crew is okay. I never really fell in love with their crew. Yeah, Enterprise was tough. They it was also on UPN, right? And I think they just didn't really. The temporal war was the only thing you find interesting. The idea was interesting, but I didn't want them. Okay, so it's a brand new show set in the past, ahead of our current time, but before the original series. In this case, before Strange New Worlds. All right, to set the scene. So you would think its sole purpose in life would be to explain some of the things that happened in the original series that they mention or they set the foundation for that you've not seen. And sometimes they do that, but boy, oh boy, did they take liberties. They took liberties to take things that happened in the future and make them happen in the past instead and say, oh, that's when it actually happened. Oh, but something happened on the computer was turned off. so we didn't record it, and we didn't really get a good look at them, like meeting the Ferengi for the first time, meeting the Borg for the first time. Just so many things that they just took liberties to do because they thought, well, it happened in the past, let's just do it again. Yeah, no connection to the characters. The one blonde guy was okay. Trip Tucker? I think he was the only blonde one that was on there. The engineer? He was kind of cute, especially when they had him running around in his tight blue underwear. Well, not bad, but yeah. All it had going for it. Him, yeah. Turns out the actor in reality is a massive homophobe, which is just so sad. It is what it is. Doesn't play for my team, and he plays for yours. Go for it. uh, yeah. I have to say, nearly all of the new series have been great. All of the stuff since Paramount started making the new ones and putting them on Paramount Plus, they've been excellent. There are only some minor issues with Discovery, but the rest of it has been absolutely wonderful. Have you ever seen any of the Lower Decks, the other cartoon version? That's like the fun, like snarky version, not the kiddie version. It's like the adult cartoon version. It's so good. I hate that they canceled it too. It was wonderful. Oh, it was so good. It's so funny. Like, it's so genuinely funny. And the writers for that one and the actors are all Trekkies. Well, some of the actors, but the writers for that one were pure diehard Trekkies with the knowledge to back it up. So they put in jokes and Easter eggs in almost every single episode. So you could look at it, and if you're a diehard fan, you're like, oh, it's a statue to O'Brien. Oh, they brought Voyager back in one episode. Transferring it like to a museum or something. Like, is such wonderful storytelling too. They did such a wonderful job with it. How much love. So much Trek love today. All right. Get in here and try this and do one more. Yeah, weirdly, this current season of Strange New Worlds has been for me just okay. Something about it has just not been as good as the other seasons. It's not bad. It's just different. And it sucks they've already got, they've got a death clock over their head because they already said that it's only going 5 seasons. They've already not canceled it, but they've already announced the end of the show. And it's only going to go the 5 seasons. They're in season 3 right now. That's going to have 10 episodes. Season 4 is done filming. They just finished it. And it's only going to have, 10 episodes as well. But they confirmed the 5th season that's not been filmed yet is only going to have 6 episodes, and then it'll be over. Because they're making room for other new Star Trek shows. They said they can only run so many of them at a time. And I get it. That's fine. But man, I wish they would take the ones that are amazing and just stretch them out a little bit more. 5 years is generous nowadays. But I just hate that old Star Trek would go for, like, when it wasn't canceled, it would go for 7 seasons and go for the traditional cable 24 episodes per season. You got a lot of Star Trek for your money. Now they give you 5 seasons, 10 seasons each if you're lucky, and it's just the quality of the episodes is better, and, like, the money they put into the special effects and the sets and everything is better, but sometimes I just want more content and more story and less, like, visual perfection. I don't need it to be a movie experience. It's television, and I just hate that that's what they do now. Hey, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Any Star Trek is good Star Trek because as soon as you start complaining about it, they're like, well, if you don't like it, you don't like it. We don't have to serve it. And they'll take Star Trek away and we won't have it anymore because people bitched about the quality of it. So enjoy it while it lasts and while it's on the air. And once it's gone, do your complaining then when it doesn't affect anything. That's what I say. Oh, I hate now how long it is between seasons of great shows. It is the dang truth, isn't it? They take so long to make and then edit because they have to do so much extra visual stuff, like the special effects. It takes so much longer for a season of a show to come out, and it costs them so much money. No wonder they don't do more episodes of things. And the new season, the new shows that are going to come out are going to be just as bad. They're going to do just the same, which is just as disappointing. I'm actually kind of looking forward to the Star Trek Academy. Have you heard that that's a new show coming out as well? They're going to do Starfleet Academy. It's already like, I think, done filming the first season. Comes out next year. They're bringing back the holographic doctor from Voyager. He's going to be in it. It takes place in the same time frame as Discovery in the future, way future. That should be good, but I'm afraid they're going to ruin it too in making it short. We'll see. It's practically all new people with a few guest stars from people we know, right? So, how it is nowadays. I did not darken this one enough, but I'm going to be adding stuff to it, so that'll be fine. Right. So, let me clean my brush a little better. So I'm not going to be using this one anymore. I hear a cat meowing outside. Meow. Meow. Right. Let me make sure I've got some more of this ready to go. Let's do one really big guy. And Whoops. Okay. Let me just do a few more with this brush, and then I'm gonna switch to a thinner brush. Uh, God, that cat is loud out there. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do ads starting soon. Of course they are. Give me my 40 cents or whatever it is. Right, let me get a few more little twiggy things in here down the bottom. Actually, let's try to fix some of these. That was a little too wet. It's fine. All right. All that thing. And then I think I can do next or last when I say that is let's put in some. That's way too much. It's way too much. That bring that. Can't fix that. We do a ghosted one. If you're barely there, nobody knows. Let's do that without all the extra paint on it. That's now too light. What hell? Just call that done before I screw something else up. I don't know that I can fix that right there. Nope, it's just making it weirder. Maybe we can just put something there. Just make it look like it's meant to be big. Okay. To dry this off and call it done. Let's go to let's dry it off. There you go. Clearly not perfect. Not perfect, but not bad. Let's peel that off. Not for me. Yeah, see, they came out better than I expected. Maybe I'll switch from Nebulas to mountain landscapes. Or I'll just do both. I'll just do both. Yeah, it's not bad. I like it. It's kind of cute. Clearly, I can do better. But it's not bad for like the second time I've done mountains. So I'll take it. And I got to use a lot of Payne's Gray. A little bit orange. Not too shabby. All right. Well, I got that. we got that. I say, all in all, not bad for Thursday. 2 paintings, I'll take it. I'm going to go ahead and head out. It has been quite some time, but it's okay to be a little extra since I missed out on Monday, I think. I'm going to go ahead and head out. Goddess, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I will be back, hopefully, as scheduled on Monday. Next Thursday is going to be another busy work day, so I will do my best to be here. If something goes sideways, then I might not be here Thursday, just to rejuvenate my soul. But if I'm here Thursday, it was a good day next week. Monday is a definite, though, unless something happens. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. My name is Bear. I have been barely watercoloring. Let's go see if anybody is out there that we can raid. Hey, Desert, welcome in. And goodbye. Let's do shout outs. Well, that's too many S's. There is Goddess Whispers. Desert. Yes. Please check out these 2 great people. Goddess Whispers is amazing at crochet and watercoloring and painting with turmeric now. And all kinds of amazing crafts and loads of fun gaming. I absolutely love watching you game. And Desert Dragon Lover is an amazing, superb watercolorist who is far, 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 far beyond my talent. Someday I hope to attain her skill level. I doubt it, but I'll try. Yes, thank you guys so much. Let's go find someone, see if there's anyone out there who's watercoloring or that we know. Ghost Town guy is on. Otherwise, it's some VTubers that I like to watch, which I'm not going to read into because that would be weird. Let's look for watercolor. Anybody online we don't know? Ooh, there's some Japanese ones. I like that, but they're not watercoloring right now. It's just in their tags. And if I raid someone who's Japanese fully, I won't understand what they're saying. That's okay. This person also says watercolor and drawing, but they're also playing a game. Oh, look, there's this weird dork barely watercoloring. What a stupid name. I'm just kidding. I don't really see very many. Here's one person doing art watercolor. Let me see if I can copy their name. Do that. Copy. Boop. Oops. Well, I just ended up going to them, but that's okay. Copy. They've been on for almost 2 hours. Jureen Ethan. I'm not going to know how to say their name, but we're going to read them anyway because they're also online doing art stuff. So let's look them up. Search. Right click. Paste. There they are. Looks like they accept raids. Great. We're going to head on over. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and head out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to hit end. And I'm going to head on out. Love you guys. Have a great day. And I will see you next time. Bye.